as Fonte said, congratulations on the record. Like it's really awesome to hear um, your artistic growth and you know just the risk that you're taking. The album is incredible, and all the accolades that you're getting on it. Congratulations are in order. We love this record.
Yeah, I want to personally thank you for To Be Still. Like that, man. Like, thank you for that record. Shit is beautiful.
Oh man,
Oh
thank
my
you,
God.
thank you, thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Yeah.
There's a level of envy I have when a person releases a new record, maybe because I'm constipated 10 years and holding my own record hostage. That was like everyone, like, Gary Clark's records coming out, Brit's records coming out. We just had Kareem Bailey Ray. Like, all these albums are coming out, and I'm like still holding my joint hostage. And so what is the feeling? What is the feeling you feel when it's over and it's ready?
What do you mean, like when it comes out? How's that
Well,
feel?
yeah, when you're done, because for me, like albums are almost like your kids. I hold this close to the chest. I don't play demos for people. I don't say, hey, you want to hear a bit of that? Like, I'm so anxious feel on letting it go. And then there's a point where, like, whenever I always master a record, maybe like two weeks before it's really supposed to be turned in, because I almost have to have a mourning process in literally letting your kids go. And I want to know, do you go through that, or is this just like, hey, here are my 12, 13 songs and I'm ready?
Yeah, I feel like I understand where you're coming from, but for me, it's kind of the opposite. I'm like, I can't wait to get this out in the world, because you know how it is in this business. You have to do the whole album cycle. You have to do the touring, and you have to do the promo, and you do all of this for this album. And it's like, as soon as I finish an album, I can't wait to get it out. It's like a gestation process, and what I imagine a very pregnant woman feels like. It's like, I'm ready for this thing to get out of me, so I can move on with my life. And it's kind of what it's like. I'm very proud of this project, but I'm also very excited to start a new one as well.
Already.
Are you a song cycle person, or are you an album cycle person? Like, do you just write enough songs for the album to come, or is it even as the album is done, you already have songs in the stash or still writing?
Like, there's still some on the cutting room floor. I think I still had like 6 or 7 that didn't make the album, and it was just because it was taking too long. Like, I was like, all right, I got enough here. I don't really want to spend any more energy working these out. I'll do this later. And I'm definitely like an album cycle person. Like, as soon as it feels like if it has to feel done, it has to feel cooked, and I feel like once I have that feeling, it's just like an intuition thing. Then I'm like, okay, here it is. This is it. Let's do the sequence.
Oh, I was gonna ask, what was the period of time between knowing when it was done, like just knowing like that feeling you were talking about of like, okay, I feel like this is complete, it's cooked. The time between that and it actually coming out and being released.
Sure. This time, it was like 10 months.
Oh wow.
Oh, that's
It
a
was a
long
A long
time.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like post-pandemic, things are still just taking a long time to create because we like vinyl, we like the objects. When listening to music, it takes a long time to print those things.
Oh yeah.
Everything's just slower. So it took a long time to get the whole shebang ready, really.
I just wanted to ask, if this was like a meal, then how long was your meal prep, and what was the preparation for this album, in the sense that this album is going to say this? Do you even do all of that in your head?
No, I don't even think about that. It was just I started this in March of 2020. So that's pretty much like shutdown. And I didn't realize I was making an album. I would just go in and just make like songs for fun because the world was terrifying. And we were all scared. So there's really nowhere to turn to. So it's just like I used music as my outlet once again. And when I was making this album back in 2020, I didn't know I was making it. I was just like, it was like journal entries, And I told myself, I'll just go in there, no matter what happens, it's okay. It doesn't matter what it sounds like, doesn't matter the quality of it. It's just something to do. And so it's been cooking for such a long time. The meal prep has been insane. I had walked into the kitchen, cut vegetables, walked back out. You know what I mean?
Well, let me ask you, how close to March 13th, 2020 did you start the record? Like, did you start after it was like, oh shit, what's happening? Or was it like, la-di-da-di-da, let me start March 1st, and then next thing you know, the 13th, of course, is the day that the world officially shut down and was like, okay, we got to stay indoors, like we're on punishment. So how close to that date was what you feel your beginning was?
So I had just finished a London tour, or I guess UK tour. I flew from London, got to New York City, and we had Fallon lined up, and we had different shows lined up we were gonna do. Right. And I was just looking at the state of things. I was like, I don't think none of this is gonna happen. So I actually flew home, like on the 12th or the 13th. Like I got to Nashville, and then everything shut down. And I feel like I started tinkering with things maybe like a month later. I just know like I finished Tiger King. And as soon as I finished Tiger King, I was like, all right, I don't ran out of stuff to do. Like, I guess I'll go make music because I'm a musician.
Yeah. What did you think of Platinum? What did you think of Joe Exotic's songs in Tiger King?
I thought
Here Kitty was a jam. Hey, fuck that. Hey, Here Kitty was a jam.
But it wasn't even him, right?
It wasn't
him. It wasn't even him.
It wasn't even him. It wasn't even him.
Whoever,
which makes it richer. Yeah. He just wanted to act it out.
Yeah.
What do I think about the songs? Honestly, as a body of work, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 6.
Okay.
6
out of 20. No. So, actually, this is kind of a common. I don't think it's a coincidence. A lot of these albums that I'm hearing, were sort of got their genesis or their beginning in 2020, and they're just coming out now, like 4 years later. I don't think it's a coincidence that, for a lot of us, a lot of our art that we started creating in 2020, in sort of the midst of panic and the apocalypse, air quotes, the apocalypse. I don't think it's a coincidence. So I guess I'll ask you, how hard was it, or was it easy to be creative, or what was your relationship to creativity in the apocalypse? You know, because like people are dying in real time. Family members are getting sick in real time, and like all these things are happening. But for you, like, were you like fuck singing, or like, and I mean like more like July, August, when we don't know if we're coming or going?
Yeah, I mean, my relationship with creativity was definitely difficult during that time. I was seeing like friends, especially on Instagram, just like having output, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, kind of where I was, like I said, I was going in and out of making little songs. And when I say little songs, I mean, they're like 30 seconds. They're just little ideas. And I pushed myself to do that. But honestly, it was like doing anything creative was a survival mechanism for me. Couldn't go anywhere, couldn't see my friends, was always concerned about getting sick, was concerned what was going to happen next, because not only did we have the pandemic, but back in Nashville, we had just had a tornado that had kind of devastated the area where I was living.
Oh.
And it was like one thing after the other. And a lot of people, like, they didn't have roofs on their house. So people trying to help each other out at the same time. It's like an extremely stressful kind of like position to be in. So to me, the creativity was my lifeline to any normalcy whatsoever. And it wasn't like I needed to have output, and it wasn't like I needed to make anything great. It was just, I just needed to have any type of like control at all, really.